Hello, welcome to Games. Today we're going to do MBT. I'm going to do turns 7, 8, and 9 to the end of the game. I have to record an audio track over it because last time I was playing this, the audio wasn't working. So I'm have the video on the background. I'm going to be talking about it. All right, so I have those two tanks which are sitting on the hill, which I didn't move last time. So that was from the last turn. Okay. In this scenario, it's the first scenario. We're using all the rules. It's basically a shoot 'em up. Get into position and fire your guns. It's just meant to be a learning scenario. But over here, I'm using all the basic and advanced rules. There's still quite a few American vehicles, particularly in the very center of the board. And there aren't many Soviet vehicles. I see 3 on the left. I think there's 3 on the right, and that's it for Soviet vehicles. So I'm looking for targets right now. This is the spotting phase. I'm just trying to see if everybody's spotted, if anybody's not spotted. Is that unit spotted? Yes, I believe they are. They're not spotted by that, not by that guy, but the one right behind him. And I'm just checking the spot, drawing a line. Yeah, I can see him. There's 2 over there. I don't know if one of those, I don't think is spotted. The one that's not knocked out hasn't spotted. I don't think. No, it's not. So I have to remove the little green spot on it, which I do. And I removed the little green spot from the wrong one. I put it on the right one. So I'm just making sure everything's spotted. I might just recording. Something here, shot or answering commands. Just on chart B. Okay. There you go. Now it's the command phase. I'm placing commands. So I'm going to pause it and let's us play a little bit forward. So over here, I'm just giving everybody commands. Giving those 2 unit a fire command. Just making sure I'm no snap. No snap game markers. I'm just putting a fire command on there. Yep. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to give that unit a move marker that's in that building. And that one right there, I'm going to give a fire marker too. Yeah. And how about that unit in the woods? Give those a fire marker. Just giving Americans the fire markers. Everybody gets a fire marker. That unit over there is going to get Overwatch. Now we do the initiative. I believe the Soviets won the initiative in this turn. So we're going to get some fire. Yep. So that's blocked right there. That one's not blocked. For the second one, I think they're both going to fire at that tank right there. The M60. Unless one fires at that, I think one might fire at that. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go to the fire chart. And I believe we're firing at that target in the light woods. So target in light cover -1, target's not moving. There's no penalty on a fire. And the target's +1 size, so it's going to be, I believe it's going to be short range, no modifier. For point blank range, no modifier. Yeah, that's my target. And I guess I knocked the number to knock that out, I guess. That was good shooting. So this track next, it's going to fire at them. I believe it's going to knock it out. So it's going to be short. I believe the only modifier is going to be target size. These M60 has a +1 modifier because they're large. It makes them a little bit easier to get a hit on them. I'm just checking the distance. Short range. Short range +1. I believe that's 77 to hit. Yep. So let's see what's 7. So it's a hull front hit. And the star means on H, it's HF star. The star means if it's hull down, it's not a hit. And for a lot of these, I'm not checking the penetration factors because I know pretty much all the shots penetrate the armor. And I KO'd that tank. 73, 3 as a KO. Boom. Some good shooting by the Soviets. Delete. Now remove the fire marker. All right, now we're going to fire at that vehicle. Here's the dice roll. The dice roll is a 94. That's a miss. So I'll remove the fire marker and mark that with a spot fire, little red dot. And I think that's it for the Soviets. And here I'm just marking these with the spot fire marker. Now we have the American fire phase. I get 2 shots of that vehicle in the alley. And those 2 vehicles, no shot. So alley is considered light cover. And I don't believe the target's moving, so I believe it's just going to be a -2 for, no, -1 for light cover. And it got 0.8, so that's a track damage on that shot. And I just marked it with the track damage. So here I rolled a 35 from another vehicle, so that basically is a knockout. Boom. And now the rest of those vehicles, I'm just rolling to see if one of them got a brew up. Moving the fire marker. Marking those as red spot, which is spot fire. I gotta finish my rolls to see if we get a brew up. 97's a miss. And I'm just removing the fire marker. So now we're moving to the move phase. And I believe, yeah, we have that vehicle. And I ended up moving that vehicle right there into the light woods. And it's leaving the building, but and yes, I have to do a check to see if they bog because they're within the light building. So that's why I did that. Now I'm in this woods, this light woods, and I don't have to do a bog unless I leave the light woods. And basically, if you get a positive bog result, all you have, that means is that your movement turn ends. The next turn you can try again to move out of that spot where you're bogged. I think next time we'll keep adding little rules. Like the bog is an optional rule, but I think that's really simple. Here I'm just removing the overwatch marker because the turn is over. So now we're going to go on to the next turn. All right, we're moving on to turn 7. Okay, so now I'm just checking the who has what commands. So the command is on chart B over to the right. Let's see how many commands. And what you do, you check to see the grade and the number of active units, and you cross-index them, and that's how many commands you get. And if you notice in the far right, command range, so how close do the vehicles have to be to share a command. Actually, we would do the spotting phase first. I think pretty much everyone can be spotted except for that unit. Well, I think we'll see. So I'm giving commands out. Those units can't have a move command. Well, that unit can. That unit's in a gully. Over here, those two are going to share a command. They're going to share a fire command. I believe Overwatch, because they don't have any immediate targets. Actually, they do have a target that's way to the left. But they're going to take Overwatch anyways. Now, Overwatch is if somebody fires at them, they can fire right back. That's an advantage of Overwatch. You can respond not only to movement, you can respond to fire. And I'm just giving commands. Those guys are going to move. I'm just moving everybody close because I want everybody to be so I'm giving an Overwatch command to that vehicle right there because it doesn't have a target. Is the reason. Well, I think it might. Now I'm giving all my guys Overwatch commands, I guess, except for that guy. I'm giving a move command. Seems like everybody's getting an Overwatch in this turn. Okay, so I'm rolling initiative. So I believe that the Warsaw Pact forces, or the Soviet forces, won the initiative. No one's firing, so we'll just go right into the move phase. Now I'm leaving a gully. I have that Soviet vehicle right there leaving a gully. So I want to see the bog chances in the bog. It's 1 through 15. 15 so that vehicle doesn't move. Yep, right there. So I guess I passed the bog test. Now I'm entering scrub, so I have to do a bog roll for the scrub. It's really quick. These bog rolls are really quick. Let's see, scrub 1 through 15. So I position that vehicle where it can fire. And I get these Overwatch. Now, these Overwatch fires can fire. So since there's a slight penalty for firing from Overwatch, but it's really not that big. So I'm looking up Lightwood. That vehicle went to Lightwoods. So Lightwoods is a light cover, so it's going to be -1. Target's moving should be -2, so -3. Plus you have the Overwatch. And it's a straight Overwatch. There's no Overwatch adjust. Overwatch adjust is when you're firing an Overwatch and you have to change your combat arc. So I don't think I had Overwatch adjust. I might have needed it. In my Overwatch fire, 03. I believe 10 was the crew bailing out. Let's see what I gave it. Oh, I guess the second shot brewed up. Because the 10 hits. Now the first number is target location. The hit location, second number would be a 10 result, and that's a brew up smoke. Okay, those two guys are just moving on to, they're moving with the same square as the other tanks, so that way you can give one command to all 5 of those vehicles. So now I'm checking Overwatch fire. So now those units that did, the American units that did Overwatch fire can trigger Overwatch fire from the Soviets who are in Overwatch. Unfortunately, the Soviets who are in Overwatch fire location are blocked from the those light trees there. So here we're going on to the next turn, which will be turn 8. The turns are going by quicker now because you have fewer units. Okay, so I just cleaned up some Overwatch, just cleaning up the Overwatch markers here. Getting ready for a new spotting phase. And pretty much, I'm keeping track. I know who's spotted, who's not spotted. Then you have to give the commands, and then you check for initiative. And after you check for initiative, you do the combat phase for the one who has the initiative, the combat phase for the one who doesn't have initiative, movement phase for the one that doesn't have initiative, movement phase for one that does have initiative. Somewhere in there, there's air phases, and here I'm just looking up the available commands. It's one on turn 8. I'm just checking my spots. See, the big issue is the brew up smoke. I want to not have to fire through that brew up smoke because it's a -2 penalty column shift to your 2-hit dice roll. Fortunately, that one, both vehicles, both potential targets go through the brew up smoke. But that vehicle right there doesn't fire through the brew up smoke. So now we're going to give some commands. With that, so 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 vehicles there. And there's 1 vehicle there. 5 vehicles are sharing that fire command there. I believe I put this one on Overwatch. He's happy in the gully. He can't see any targets. But if anybody comes close to him, he'll be able to fire. And because I have one command covered 5 different... Oh, I'm actually giving him a remove command. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to have him come out of that gully and fire at those 2 units in the trees. And that's the only unit that actually has a victory point hexed. That Ford crossing over there. And I guess I gave the Soviets the same command. Soviets gonna move. Now for initiative. NATO's roll is 74. Did I already roll both of them? I missed it. So NATO's gonna fire. I'm checking to see once they can hit the one in medium and average woods. That goes through brew up smoke, or they can fire at the one at light woods. The one light woods goes through brew up smoke. The one in medium woods does not go through brew up smoke. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just seeing what the brew up smoke situation is. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots right there. I have 2 vehicles that they're firing at in the woods. One's in light woods, one's in heavy woods. And there is a hex of brew up smoke that will affect some shots, but not all shots. I think that one vehicle to the far left doesn't have... It's the only one that has a shot that won't be affected by the brew up smoke. So that one's going to take a shot at the vehicle in the light woods, I think I did. And the other 5 vehicles are going to fire through the brew up smoke. They're both moving targets, so now that regular woods is medium cover, so it's going to be -3 and another -2 because they're moving. So that'll be a short -5. So we go short range, 5 columns down, plus another 2, so it'll be short range -7. But not this one right here. The only one right here will be the -2 for moving and -1, so it'll be short range -3. And that's the big thing. Once you know how to use this 2-hit chart, that's half the battle right there. That and the line of sight. Now you have that little chart that I use for line of sight. That chart that shows you the blind hexes. So as you can see, I knocked out that vehicle that was in the light woods. And over here, I'm just trying to see if I can actually brew it up. I guess I had another one of those tanks fire at it. And 98 fails. So I got those four vehicles are going to fire at that. So again, it's going to be -2 for moving, -2 for blow up smoke, and -3 for medium cover. So it's going to be -7. So it's going to be a short 4 shots at a short -7. Or did I all have them fire at that one vehicle? So short -5, I guess. Rolls to 32. 32 is just damage. And just oh, I fired the other one. Okay. Uh, 68 is going to be, well, that's the bailout to see if they bailed, crew bailed out. So there's a short range -5. I think that's it for potential targets for the Americas. And again, I'm just checking this, but I don't have line of sight. Check last time. Checking again, I guess. They're Overwatch and they can fire at those vehicles, but those they didn't have line of sight to those vehicles. So and I'm just completing the move right here. And this is pretty much it. At this point, the Soviets only have one vehicle that can move around, and that's turret damaged. Meanwhile, the Americans have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles in totally good shape, and one vehicle that can move slowly. Plus, they have one vehicle that's track damage in the center of the board, but that's still the center of the board, so you can cover quite a large area. Now, the Soviets have those 2 vehicles that have track damage to the far left, but they only can shoot to that little corridor on the left. So at this point, it's clear that the Americans have won the game. We're going to go at turn 9. And here I just play it out. We'll pause it for a minute. I think the American here I'm just looking at available commands. I think the Soviet has 2 commands maybe, and the Americans have lots. So they're going to fire on all those guns right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're going to be 7 shots against that one vehicle, Soviet vehicle right there. And once that Soviet vehicle is taken out, Soviets don't have any more active tanks except for the 2 with track hits that can only fire to the left. So I'm just giving that one guy his very own fire command. Of course, I'm giving all those Americans now 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 5 vehicles can share the same command. Now, if these weren't seasoned, anything less than seasoned, in order to share commands, they'd have to be in the same hex. Elite units, you can be 2 hexes away and share the same command. All that's going to happen here is I'm going to shoot, and I'm going to take out that last Soviet tank that's still mobile. Fire. Yep, there it is. I shot, got 68, and I booted up. And that's it. That's the game right there. Americans have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 active tanks, and 1 tank that is that's immobilized, but that immobilized vehicle is in the center of the board. And the Soviets only have 2 vehicles on the far left. and the Americans still won't be able to take any more victory point hexes because they have to stop on a victory point hex and sit there for an entire turn. But they won just for the main units, and they got that one. But that's it. Thank you very much. Next time I'm going to be playing MBT from GMT Game Scenario 2 with the full rules, basic and advanced. Optional rules, at least the bog. The big addition, and that's going to be it.